Yep. Good morning, everyone. So yesterday we learnt about the structural directives, switch, and ng4, right? So the three important structural directives. So we have ng if and ng switch and ng for. When we are discussing with ng switch and for some their techniques we learn. What is ng for? It is a repeater. What is the condition for repeating? It uses an iterator. How many times it repeats? Depending on iterator. In iterator, how many collection of items are there? Based on that, it repeats. So that is actually ng for. Here, technically, ng for have some important attributes also. Some important properties are there. ng for is a repeater. Yesterday you saw, I showed you nested iterations, how to present complex data. Now, one important thing you should know here is actually ng for have properties. ng for have important properties. So we just used ng for, but it has some properties. These properties are very important. What are the properties we have for ng for and why they are required? I will show you. Actually, I will give a tabular here, property, its type and its description. Generally, ng for properties, first important, we have index. Its type is number type. And its purpose is it returns the index number of iterating item. You can say repeating element. It returns the index number of repeating element. Yesterday you saw a list item repeated. You saw a div repeated, button repeated, link repeated. If same item is repeating, then how do we get second, third, fourth? Suppose you created a list. In that list, for example, you see here, this is running, yeah. Now, actually, in this example, it is fetching the data here. Now, what it is doing is, it is fetching the details and displaying the details. Actually, how many images we created? You are counting, huh? No. Only one image we created. That one image we are repeating. So how many images we created? Only one. You can see in the logic only one image is there. But this image is repeating. If it is doing like that, now how to access the third one? All are IMG only, right? Suppose I give ID for image as 1. That ID also will repeat. Because only one image you are using, for you given an ID or a class for any particular image, that ID also repeats. If same ID is repeating to every element, it is difficult to access specific element. Then actually, when any element is repeating, every element have its index numbers 0, 1, 2 like this. Repeating items index number we can access. What is advantage of that? We can control any specific item if we want. For that, we need to get the index number of that repeating item. And for that, there is a property, and that property is the index. How it works, I will tell you. We will see how it works. Actually, here you see we are using ng for. In that, iterator is completed. After that, you can put a semicolon. You can declare a variable I is equal to, we can use the property called index. There is a property called index. We have a property called index. We have index property. There is a property index. There is a property index. Remember, this index property belongs to this ng for. ng for. Now we can use this property. And we can put this property reference in this I. So what I is going to do is, it is going to collect the index number of image. Understand? That means first occurrence 0, second occurrence 1. You can get the index number. So let's print that. If we want, we can print it. What I will do is, I will keep this here. This is the image we are having. Beside the image, I want to print index. Index is what? I. But actually, I need to keep within the block, right? Then I will do one thing. So we will, to see it clearly, I will put like this. In a table, I will show you so that you can understand. We will put a table. So class is what? Table, and table hover. And in this T head, TR, TH, this is review. And in the next column, I will give index. Okay. So here we will put a T body. In that, this row should repeat. We have to repeat this row. How do we repeat the row? We are using ng for let item of collection. Collection is what? Products. And here I am displaying in the first cell, we will put image, img, and src is equal to item dot image. And we will put width 100 and height 100. Okay. Now you can see first cell contains all images. All images are there. Now I want to get their index numbers. If I want to get the index number, here I have to declare a variable leti. Leti is equal to which property? Index. Index property. Now this index I will print in a second cell. In the next cell, I am going to print that index. Index reference is I. And you can see that every photo index number will come here. So you see where it is missing double right here. So you can see it is going to access and get the index number of every item. And index number is 0, 1, 2, 3. That means it gets the index number. How to use this index number, I will show you. We will design an example In that example, we will see how to use that index number, how to handle the indexes we will learn. Main purpose of getting the index number is we can know at which index what is present, and we can control it, like deleting that item, like editing that item. Such actions we can do only when we know where it is. Because you create one button, one cell, one row, and you make them repeat. In that case, same logic will be for all of them. It is important to know which place is present. For that, we need one property called index. So it returns the index number of repeating element. Another option we have first. It is a Boolean type. So it returns true if the repeating element is the first element. That means in repeating it is the first element, it says true. So similarly, last, that means Boolean. It is also Boolean. What it will do? It returns true if the repeating element is the last element. If the repeating element is last element. We have even. Even is also Boolean. So it returns true. If the repeating element is at even occurrence. That means is it 0, 2, 4 like this. Similarly, we have odd. Odd is also what type? Boolean. So it returns true if the repeating element is at odd occurrence. So why we need even occurrence, odd occurrence, first occurrence, last occurrence? I will show you in examples. We will do that. So generally, when we are repeating elements, is it the first one? Is it the last one? Is it at even occurrence? Is it at odd occurrence? That you can do. Later, we will see why they are required, where they are used. In example, we will put them. But these are all what type? Boolean. Boolean means they will return true or false. For example, let's see here. So we are using, I'm going here and declaring. See, you have to declare in this ng for only. In this ng for already index is declared. Here I will declare let f is what? First. So let, so L is equal to last. Let some E is equal to even. Let O is equal to odd. Like this. You can use any variable name. Now, these are all the properties that for is having. Okay, let's put here those headings also. I will give here first. Here I will give here last. Here I will give what? So even we will give here as what? Odd. Okay, those I will display here. So this is F, right? And this cell contains L, last. And this contains even. This cell contains even. And this cell contains what? Odd. So, and you can see all those options will return Boolean. They are true or false. So you can see for the first item, first is true because it is first item. Last is false because it is not a last item. Even is true because it is at 0. Odd is false because it is not at even. For the second one, odd is true. Am I right? And all others are false. For the this is 1. This 2, it is even is true. Am I right? And others are false. These are Boolean types actually. And for the last one, you can see the last is true. Even is true, last is true. It will display those. This last order, odd is true. That is odd is true. Another one is last is true. This is last true and this is odd true. It will display all these booleans. Now doubt is why I need all these, why I need true, why I need false, of why I need to know even odd. Can you tell? What is the necessity? What is the advantage of knowing is it odd or even? Occurrence. Does it matters? Where it matters? Question understood? Right? How it matters whether being an odd occurrence or even occurrence? How it is going to matter whether it is odd occurrence or even occurrence? Actually, we do that mostly for visual effects. Even odd occurrence are used for applying styles for alternative elements. For example, mostly we use them for styles. Styles we use them. Actually, you see, suppose this is PowerPoint. In PowerPoint, I am inserting a table. Observe carefully when I am inserting a table, you can see how many rows and columns. You can see alternative effects are there. And you can see first row effect is different. Odd occurrence different, even occurrence different. That means visually we want to change the appearance based on whether it is an even occurrence or an odd. Because remember, if a item is repeating and you applied some effect, same effect will repeat everywhere. For example, you see that is the problem also actually. Suppose see, I want to apply a background color for row. If I want to apply a background color for row, for this row, I will put a class name BG. Suppose I will say primary. Now you will see that all rows will be primary. All rows will be primary. Because same row is repeating. Na? If same row is repeating, all are primary only. That means now I don't want like that. I want even rows separate color, odd rows separate color. Then how do we know it is even row or odd row? By using this reference, by using the property even and odd. We can apply that based on. But for that you need to learn how to apply the styles separately. Later you will learn about style binding, class binding. When you learn style binding, class binding, you will learn how to apply classes dynamically. Right? As of now, suppose see here, see, I am giving a simple one. Let's go to the CSS file. For demo CSS file. Here I am using dot odd. This is odd. In that I will give background color. Background color some light coral. That is the background color. I will give it more light, RGB. That is the background color. and I will use even. This is background color. So green. So, and light green. I will keep it more light green. So more light green. I will keep it like this. More light green like this. I am using RGB colors. Now what should happen here is we need to apply class. So here we are defining the class. So we are using class. The class I am applying, like what is the class name? That means we are defining the class name as what? Odd or even something. Then what it is going to do? It is going to apply all same color now. Right? If I apply even, all even color. So, even I defined all will be even color. They will be all even color. But I want odd occurrence, odd color, even occurrence, even color. For that, actually, you need to learn class binding. You will learn about class binding. Later, you will learn about that. Then you will understand how to apply alternative. For that, we need a separate topic. There you will use odd and even. That means generally what we do is here, we write like this. What is it? Class dot even. Class dot even is equal to, it will get the value from even. It will get the value from even. Even is defined as ENA, is having even, true or false. That is nothing but actually even occurrence we see. For even occurrence, that color is applied. That means what we do is we will put class and class name. Class name is what? Even. Now what this E returns? It returns true or false. That means if row is at even occurrence, it returns true. Then what will happen? If it is even is true, it will apply this even class. Understood? That means if even is true, then it will apply even class. Similarly, I am adding another one. What is it? Class dot odd. Odd is equal to which one? O. And you can see if odd is true, then it will apply the odd class, odd occurrence. For even occurrence, one color. For odd occurrence, another color. It will apply like this. The even and odd occurrences it will do. These kind of effects we can apply if we can know is it even or is it odd. If it is first, another color. Is it last, another color? Because sometimes first we treat as headings. Last, we treat as some footers like copyrights or something. In that case, what we do, we apply different effects. We can write one class. First, what should be there? Last, what should be there? This is advantage of knowing the occurrence. If we know, is it a even occurrence? Is it a odd occurrence? Then you can display like this. We can configure in this way. So, what are the points here? For even and odd occurrences, what are the concept? First, we need to create two classes. One is odd, another one is even. And once, if it is odd occurrence, apply odd effects. Even occurrence, you have to apply even. Effects we can do later. I will tell you styles, classes, how to apply. That is a separate topic. There we can learn more options, how we can handle them. But here, how to apply any class? First, in the property binding, you have to use the word class and you have to access the class name you given and apply this class when even is true and apply this class when odd is true. Understood? Because E and O, these are returning true and false. This syntax indicates do you want to apply the class or not? If you want to apply class, true. If you don't want, false. Right? That is what actually the technique is. So this is one simple point just to understand what is even and odd. I will copy this example here. This is for demo. For demo.component.css. In CSS, we need to keep these styles. And for demo.component.ts. In TS, actually, we are fetching data from API. Na? This is fetching data from API. Huh? And we are storing in which location? Products. Okay. Another one is for demo. For demo dot what? Component dot HTML. In HTML, we are presenting all this. This is in HTML we are presenting. This is the concept of working with that. Now here, the key point is when you are using ng for, along with iteration, you have declared some properties. These are all belonging to for. ng for have these properties. So those properties are related to index and all. Here, one more property is there. The property is tracked by. It is actually a function pointer. This is a function type. Actually, it tracks the changes in iterator and updates the elements, updates only the elements that changed. Elements that change. That is the point. 1 second, I will be back. Right. So what is this track by and how this track by works? Let's see. Actually, what is the concept of track by is, I will show you one practical example here. This requires, suppose we are accessing data from any API. Some database or somewhere we are accessing. Suppose we have a database. In database, we have 10 records. Now what we are doing is accessing these 10 records from the database. And we are displaying in a table. And for that, we are using ng for. Actually, we cannot directly get from database. We use APIs. So suppose we have the collection ng for, so let, so item of collection. Collection is what? Records. Now what happens is, how many times the row is iterated? How many times it is iterated? 10. Now what happened is, okay, it is finished, it displaying 10 rows. After that, somebody added one more record into it. That means some change happened into the database. This one record need to be updated into this table. Am I right? Then what happens is it will repeat all 10 again. That means it will repeat this iterator completely again. That means to add the new one extra one, it will repeat all again. That means now how many times iteration will happen? 11 times iteration will happen. Why? 10, 20 is okay. In real-time projects, you have to deal with millions of records. Suppose you are searching on Google any topic, millions of results will come for every topic. And some new topic is added. Will you iterate all 1 million again? That's not good idea. But that is what NG4 does. That means suppose out of 10 records, 7th record changed. Then it will repeat all 10 again to update the 7th record. This is the problem that we have to face with NG4. We can handle this problem by using track-by. What track-by can do is it can verify which element changed, means which iteration changed. That means 7th one changed. Then it will update only 7th one. That's good. That means it will not iterate all. It will do iteration only in the records that are changed. What track-by will do? It will track all the repeating items. It will track which item changed, and it will iterate only that item. That's very good. It will push only that item. That's good. This is track-by. So it is compulsory. It is mandatory to use. You cannot repeat all million records again and again. For that, this is very important. Let's see practically this, how it happens. Actually, it uses a function. I will show you that example here. See. For that, we need to construct another example. This example already I given. Yeah. Now for track-by, let's clean up this. Okay. And here data also, I will use general data. So I'm just using here some data. I will clean up all this. Yeah. I'm creating simply public products. Temporarily, it is any type array. In that, we have some details, name, and we have like price. And you can see some details are defined here. So another name and mobile. And here we have price. Okay, these are the details we are entering. Some name and some shoe like this. And price. Okay, 3 details are there. Now I want these 3 details to display. So let's go here. We will create a simple table and class as table and table hover. And here we are defining T head, TR, TH. This is name and this is price and table body. And in this table body, we have T row. This row should repeat. And here we are adding NG for LET item of collection. Collection is what? So products. And first cell is displaying item dot name. And second cell is displaying item dot price. So here we are having item dot price. Okay. Now we can see this is the data displayed here. Okay. Now I will add one more here button. I will keep a button above the table. Yep. So class here is margin bottom 2. Here we defined a button and say suppose update. Okay. And here we will right click. This is update click. Update click is the function. btn primary something. Now there is no update click function. We have to write here. So what is the function? So that is public update click. When update click happened, I am accessing this dot products is equal to, into that, it is an array. Into that, all these three details I am adding again. Observe, I am adding those three details again, but extra one more I will add. So name is some watch and price, some price we defined. Like this we added. That means what we are doing, we are repeating the records. We are repeating the records, but one extra is there. So when update click happens, observe here when update click happens, one more record is added. But we will see in the background to add this record, is it repeating all records or not? Right? We will verify that. Let's open inspect. I will open inspect here. In the inspect, let's go to here, elements, table. In the table, we will go to table body. In the table body, here you can observe how many rows are there? 3 rows. You concentrate here. 3 rows are there. Observe that carefully. When I click the button, observe that carefully 3 rows. When I click update button, one more must be added. That means I click update button, all 3 are repeated again. Have you seen that? Right. I will do one more thing. I will click one more time. Are there any changes? No changes. But when I click one more time, it repeats again. I click one more time, it repeats again. If nothing is changed, why you are repeating again and again? That means again you are fetching, displaying, fetching, displaying. This is huge burden to application. Servers have lot of burden. Every time it is going, coming back, it is difficult. Generally, majority of the times our applications fail because we don't use them properly. For example, you see you are using a mobile and suddenly mobile hangs up. What is the problem? Is the mobile problem? Is the mobile issue? If it is mobile issue, you can put a case on the mobile company in consumer court saying that I purchased 20,000 rupees mobile, it is not working. You can put a case on them. But if you put a case like that it is hanging up, then they will laugh at you. Why? Because it is not mobile problem. Its RAM capacity is 2 GB. Its memory capacity is suppose 5 GB. And you install 200 games into it. Then how it will work? That is mobile problem. Huh? So that is your problem. That means applications fail. Your mobile systems will not respond because you don't know how to use them. You don't know how to use them. That is the reason even you complain on them, that will be dismissed immediately. Why? Because that is silly. Because They have done hundreds of times testing on it. 1 year, 2 year, they do all the testing on it. After that, they release it into market. So technical problems, if comes really, then they will roll back. They will say that there is a fault in our mobile. We will roll back all the mobiles. We will refund you money. But if there is a problem like hanging up, slow, it is working, that is your problem. You are not properly able to handle them. So on internet, these kind of cases are regular because people use internet without having the knowledge of how to use it properly. Due to that, even you designed a good website, lot of technical issues will come. Technical issues will come. Those technical issues are not really the problems of application. That is because of your operating, right? You don't properly operate it, then issues will come. That is the reason even user is unable to operate properly. We must able to control it. That means we know that he will click 2 times. You see, when any transaction is going on, they will ask you, don't push back button. Don't push refresh button, right? So when you push back and refresh button, what will happen? It will cancel the transaction. That means they have to ask you, don't push back, don't push this. So now some applications, what they do, they will not allow to go back. That means even you push back button, they will not allow you to go back. So such things we can control. That is what actually required here. That means user will click several times. Unknowingly he will click. But you will not repeat it. You will repeat only when any change happened. So that is important. Currently, whenever I click, it is repeating again. It is repeating again. And you saw here when I refresh, actually, when we refresh in the table body section, you see, to add only 1 row extra, all 3 rows are repeated. Observe, update, all 3 repeated. This is not good because as of now, 3, 4, okay, but hundreds, thousands of records are loading. It will take time. We can control that by using track by. How? We will write a function. We will write a method public. That method name, any name you can give, I will give track changes. This method will collect the index number of record, which record changed. That means this method is expecting a parameter called index. Index is what type of parameter? It is a number. Now what it will do is, it will return that index number where change occurred. That means it will collect all index numbers and it will return only the index where change occurred. 2 changes may be, 1 change may be, where change occurred, it will return that index. That's very good. That means what track changes this function will do? It will collect all index numbers and it will return only the index where change occurred. Who will identify where change occurred and send here? That is done in the UI by using a function. Which function? Here we have to use in the iteration semicolon. We have to use what? Track by. Track by colon. It is a function name. What is the function name? Track changes. This is how we need to write. Remember, it is a function pointer, not function calling. That means you don't need to call the function like this. Understand? It is just function pointer. Function pointer means name of the function. So it is not function calling, function pointing. Now what happens here is, what this track by will do is, internally it will identify which index row changed. You don't need index also. Track by will get the index number and it will send that index number to which location? track changes. Track changes will return that index number and give it to iterator again. What iterator will do? It will update only that index. Let's see. Now I will go to the design. In the design, let's go to the table. In the table, let's go to the body. See how many rows are there? 3 rows. I will do one thing for your more convenience to understand. Every time when user clicks this button, I will put a alert. Okay, na? In the alert, I will say update clicked. Okay, fine. Now you see what happens here. I will open this table body. In the table body, we have how many rows? 3. I will click update button. When I click update button, update clicked. After that, okay. Observe carefully, only last row is updated. Have you seen? Right now, see, I click on update again. When I click on update again, update clicked. And I click okay, nothing is updated. It's not repeating. The iterator is not working. That means I click update again, then update clicked, but repeater not working. Why? Because you used track changes. This is good. This is important. That means generally all iterations have this kind of problem. Whenever you are using for each and all, this problem comes. That's the reason Java, .NET, all these technologies implement a mechanism called lazy loading. They implement a mechanism called lazy loading. That means it will load only when it is necessary. And this is internally using lazy loading. Now you are using a lazy loading concept without writing anything. We are using a simple function which is internally using lazy loading. Lazy loading means it will load only what is necessary to load. It will not load everything every time. It will load only the concept which is required for that situation. This mechanism is what? Lazy loading. And internally it is implementing lazy loading. It is not loading all the rows. It is loading only the row which is changed. This is the concept of track by. So later when you learn APIs, this will be more effectively working. It will improve the speed of application. It will reduce the burden on server. You don't need to unnecessarily load every item every time, right? I hope you know this generally. Later, one more technique I will show you. Suppose when you are using Google search, you have seen that regularly. Huh? When you are using Google search, suppose in images, I am searching for Angular and Angular images came. Some millions of images came. Is it loading all million images? No. Now observe carefully. When I am scrolling down, then only next set loads. Na? Am I right? When I am scrolling down, then only next set of images will load. Am I right? And when next set is loading, above images are again loaded. No, they will be there only. Only the new things will be loading. This is what you have seen. That means this you can practically implement in another way also later. We will see that. But this is what you have seen. We created a table. Only 4th row is added. All the above rows are not generated. Only 4th row is added. Only the new one is added. This is what implementing of lazy loading. Later you can design like this. Images lazy loading also I will show you how we can handle. Right? Initially, that is the concept of working with track by. That is track by. So track by requires a function. What is the any name you can give for this function? It will collect the index number where change occurred, and it will return the changed index so that this ng-for can iterate only that where change occurred. For that you have to use this track by. Remember, these are ready-made properties. Capitalization, everything matters. and it is a function, you have to put a colon to access. And it is not function calling, it is function pointer. Function pointer requires only function name. So that is important. So this is example of what track by. This is track by example. Same for demo.component.ts. In TS, this is the code. We made some changes. Yeah. And for demo.component.html. In HTML, this is the code. Here we used track by in ng-for. So ng-for have lot of important attributes, properties. So index, which returns index number. We have first, last, even, odd. Another one is track by. We will use these regularly now in various occasions, right? Now, once we know how to use ng-for, how to write iterations and all, now we will try to work with complex data presentation. Let's see one API, the complex data presentation. We will see you have a website, so api.nasa.gov. You can visit this website. This is NASA's API website. You can visit the website here. So this is api.nasa.gov. This is NASA API website. We have ISRO websites also, but everybody don't have open data. They don't provide open data. So here you see, this is a API website. There is a browse APIs. When I click browse APIs, lot of APIs they given. Astronomy, picture of day, asteroids, so many are there. Now here I will select some Mars rover photos. I will select that Mars rover photos. In that, they will give you some queries. You can see these are queries. And I click on a query. I click on this query. You can see it returns this data. This is all the data. Now, our responsibility is to present this data. That means in real world projects, this is our work as an Angular developer. What is the role of Angular developer in real-time projects is the data comes from an API, and that data we have to present, and we have to create a good interface for interacting with the data. Interacting with data means searching and all. Searching, filtering, sorting, all such activities we have to handle. Now here you see, first point for any developer is to understand the data that is written to you. Remember, this URL is returning the data. And see what is the data it is returning finally. What is the data it is returning? What does this means? Object. It is returning an object. So what you are expecting from this location is object. That object contains a property called photos, which is of what type? Array. That means in this object, there is an array. That array name is photos. And this photos array is again object type array. And every object have lot of details. ID, sol, camera. Camera is again object. Right? Like that, every object have details. You can see actually this is the detail of one object. That is the detail of one object. This is one ID. This is second ID. Understood? This is not second ID. Where is? There may be some second ID. Yet you can see here, this is one product related information up to here. Understood? From here, another product information comes. Now one product have means one item have lot of details. We have to present this. We have to present this, and we don't want all. Suppose I want to present this data, but in this, what I want is I want only photo ID and I want camera full name. I want camera full name because camera have lot of details. That means what is the photo ID, which camera took that photo, and what is the photo. Photo also I want. Let's see where photo is. Photo has IMG SRC. Na? IMG SRC is having a JPG. Understood? This photo is coming from their server, right? This photo is coming remotely from their server. We want IMG SRC. Okay. And we want rover name. Which rover took that photo? Rover name is name. Camera name is full underscore name. And rover name is just a name. And remember, camera is an object and rover is also an object. That means what I want from here is, here lot of details are there. I don't want all. I want only the photo ID, the photo, which camera took that photo, and which rover took that photo. Only those details we want to display. Let's see how we can handle this data. Let's see. I will create a simple, here let's go, and here first we will create a table. In that class table and table hover, and here we are creating T-head, TR and TH. In this we want photo ID. We want the preview. Preview is photo. We want the camera name and we want the rover name. Only these details we want to display. Okay, from the data we want to display these details. So in the table body we want to do that. So first we have to bring the data from there. Then let's go to the TS file, and here we will remove this. Yeah. And here all this concept is same, implements on init. So what is the data type coming? Object. So we will create an object here, public, and I will define here suppose Mars object. That is the Mars object. Data is very complex, so I will put as what type? Any type what? Object. That's how we define. Of course, if you want, you create a contract for it and you can apply that contract, but this is a big one, right? You better try the contract. But if you have to create a contract, it will take a lot of time now. Why? Because so much data is there. Everything you have to mention in the contract. It's data types and all we have to mention there. So as of now, we created just Mars object. It is of what type? Any type of object. Okay. Now what should happen on init? We have to fetch data coming from this URL. Copy that URL. Okay. I copied that URL. Now I will write here. What is it? Fetch. Fetch data coming from this URL. This is the URL. And what we have to do, dot, then first what? Response. What we have to do? Response. Response dot what? JSON. Convert the response into JSON. After that, we have to use another then. This then will collect the data. This data need to be attached. This dot what? Mars object is equal to data, because data is also object. But is data array? Data is not array. That means actually this data is an object type. You have seen this is an object. In this object, there is a property called what? Photos, which is of what type? Array. Right? That means now this is just an object. In that object, there is a property called photos, which is an array. So what we have to do now, let's go to the presentation. Here we have to generate a row. This row should repeat ng for let item of collection. Collection is Mars object. Is Mars object a collection? No, Mars object is not a collection. Mars object is an object. In that object, there is a property. What is that? Photos. That is collection. Understood? Because finally the data is coming to us object. In that object, there is an array called photos. That we have to do for iteration. Object you can't iterate. We have to iterate array inside that object. That means now every item contains first cell. Every item contains ID. Item dot what? ID. You should be careful because you need to just correctly refer this one. And you can see the IDs are ready. That means all the photo IDs are coming. And you can see hundreds of photos are there. IDs are there. That is in the first cell. Okay, now next cell. Let's go into the second cell. In the second cell, we need to print the photo image. Image width is suppose 100. Image height is also 100. Image source src property, to that we have to bind item dot img underscore src. Actually, that is the image source here. You can see img src is image source. That image source we are applying and all images will come. You can see these are all the images present there. These are all the images present. Now, similarly, now I need camera name na. So then what we have to do here is in the next cell, camera name, how to get it? Item dot camera. That is an object. In that what we have full underscore name. That is the camera name. Similarly, we need rover name. How to get the rover name? Item dot rover dot name. That is rover name. And you can see it will get the details of the camera and rover names here. And it will display them here. That means the photo and the camera name and the rover. You can see the first photo is 102,693. 102,693. And that is the photo. And this is a small preview you are showing. Presentation your wish. You can do in any way. What I can do here, see what I am doing is this small image which is displayed. This image I will keep in an anchor. Understand? That image I will keep in an anchor. Anchor is clickable. Its href will be, we will put href. Its href will be item dot image source. That means it will take us to the original photo. And it should open in a separate tab. Then I will use target. Target is equal to what? Underscore blank. It will open link target in a separate. That means now what happens is every image here is clickable now. Every image is clickable. And when I click that image, what will happen is when I click that image, it will open that image in a separate screen. That means it will open the image in a full screen. I'm just scrolling here. Which image I want, I click on that image, that opens in a separate screen. That image opens in a separate screen. You can open in a separate tab. You can open in a separate window. That depends on how you want to present. For that, you can use your Bootstrap, because in Bootstrap, what you can do, you can create pop-up. In a pop-up, you can show that image preview. Here also we can do, but it's a lengthy process. Actually, what we can do here is Anchor href can use JavaScript function. It can use JavaScript. In this JavaScript, what we can do is, here in the JavaScript, we can use window.open method. This window.open method will have to use the image source. That means item dot, what is it? img_src, image source. Then we can use a title for that image. Title is defined. Suppose some pic, something like this. Like this we can add, but this requires lot of jQuery. The lot of JavaScript and jQuery we need. Width I am just giving is 400, and height is equal to 400. Actually, this is all JavaScript window function for that images generally. Usually what happens is, when you click on that image, it will open in a separate window and display. But for that, we need to enable scripts. We need to configure. I hope if you learned Bootstrap bundle.js will be there. Bootstrap JS, jQuery JS, you can do that, right? Those you will learn later. That means you can write such logic so that it will not open in a separate tab. It will open in a separate window, separate pop-up. As of now, this is the logic we written. What is it for it? We have an option. What is it? href. Href is equal to item dot img_src and target. Target is equal to blank. But remember, every time the presentation is not same. As I told you already, sometimes what they do is they ask like, I don't want like this. I want like a card style. I want like a card style. For example, you see, generally some websites, suppose we have Amazon, or suppose I showed you some Naresh IT. In this Naresh IT website, you see they have several courses. All those courses details, they are showing like this cards. I want the Mars rover photos also like this. That means the photo, which camera took it, which rover took it, all such information I want display like cards, not like table. Then you have to use your Bootstrap knowledge for presenting such content. So what I am doing here now, see, observe. So here we will, so this is just tabular form. Na? First I will give this tabular form, copy. I will put this example table. Okay. This is same for demo. This is for demo.component.ts. And in HTML, for demo.component.html, we are presenting in a table form. Let's change the presentation. You can present in any way you want. I will remove this here. Okay. So I will remove this part. Div is there. Okay. And here I am writing dflex. I am writing here flex wrap. Like this I am defining. In this, I have to design a card style. I will use a div. In Bootstrap, we have a class card. Card will have padding 2, margin 2. Card will have style, width of that is 200 pixel. Now in this card, we will put an image at the top. Remember, this card should repeat. If the card should repeat, we have to use what? NG for let item of Mars object dot photos. Understood? Now image source is equal to item dot img underscore srs. It will have a class called card image top, and I will give height as some 200 pixel, 180 pixel. Okay. Below this, we will put a div. The class is card header. In that, I want the image ID. Then we will use item dot ID. After that, we will put class card body. Class card body. In card body, I am creating a data list with the term as camera name. How to get the camera name and display here? In the data definition, we are using so item dot camera dot full underscore name. And in the next term, I am displaying the rover name. And here we need to display this is item dot rover dot name. This is how. And you can see this time we are displaying a card for every item. Then the presentation will be like this. So it should display all in a card style like this. This is the card style of presentation. That means all are displayed in cards. It will display like this. And again, same. If I am changing the width, you can see the number of cards will be changing. Number of cards will be increasing. Here, I'm increasing because I given a display flex and flex wrap. These cards will be automatically adjusting to next line if the width is increasing. Right? These are all card style. That means displaying data in a different format is important. Now, remember, they just give us data and we created this presentation. Now they will ask some functionality here. They will say that now design this page in such a way that it should have, they will tell you like that. It should have a drop down. In this drop down, anybody can select camera name. Understood? Camera name. When they select a camera name, only photos taken by that camera should display. That means a drop down in that you select a camera name, only that photo should come. They select rover name, only that rover should come. Actually, in their data, they have a lot of other details. You see, API, this rover photos have a lot of other data. You can see it is also having like launch date. I want all the photos from the rover which is launched after 2022 year. Here they are having old photos also. Na? I want only after 2022 year. Then you have to write filters for that. That means they will give you one data and they will ask you various conditions on that. You must be able to handle. That's what generally shopping sites also do. Na? Suppose we have a shopping site like what is it? Flipkart. When you go to the shopping site and you selected some products like mobiles or something you have selected. Mobiles and some mobile you selected. Automatically you see left side. They will give you filters like this. Am I right? And what are the filters? They will say select price range, select brand name. And according to that, this right side data will be displaying. You see left side all filters. That means they will say select rating above 4, rating above 3, rating below 3. That means actually their data is only one. But on the data, several interactions we have to manage. So this is what we need to design. So this is one example actually. So this is same example. We changed the HTML page. HTML page, this time we are using what? Cards. This is of cards presentation. Now, once we can do this, now we will see some more complex data here. Some more complex data. There is another API called Fake Store API. This is a Fake Store API. This provides some data related to shopping sites. To create a shopping website, some data is provided by these people. What we will do is, we will use these people's data and we will create a shopping like screen. Understood? That means we will create a shopping like website by using the data of these people. For that, they will provide ready-made data. We can try them. We can use that data. So that we will see in next session, right? Today is enough for this, right? You need to practice all this, what we learned. You try that NASA API and all. In tomorrow's session, we will discuss a shopping site, how to design by using this data. Okay, na? Right.